Hey Scout families, I am excited to share with you today an activity I like to do with my kids, which is the National Park Junior Ranger Program. If you haven't heard about it, just about every national park has what's called a Junior Ranger Program, and it's a fun set of activities for kids to be able to do. And once they complete those activities each park, they're able to earn a badge. And so this particular one is from Canaveral National Seashore. You can see it's a pin. And some of the parks actually have patches too. So depending on which park you're at, the kids can earn that badge or they can earn a patch, and I'll show you some examples in a minute. So we have different books here where you can learn about the program. This is more of the adult book. As kids get older, they prefer this version. It gives a chance, it lists the park, a little bit more information about them, and it gives a place for them to get their stamps, which I'll show you in the larger book. And this is the more kid-friendly book. This belongs to one of my kids. So this book, a little bit more kid-friendly, tells a little bit about the individual parks. With both books, they're divided into regions. So all the national parks are in regions, which if you're traveling, it gives kids a chance to see what's near them based on where you're going. And we like to use this if we are traveling. Maybe we can stop along the way for an hour, stretch our legs, and actually earn a badge or a patch for a national park. So it's a really cool tool for us to be able to do that, as well as, sometimes you're sitting home on the weekends and you're like, what can we do today that's not television, Xbox, or some other electronic? And if there's a national park near you, you could run out there and do this program. And so you can see some of them are ranger-led programs. This is actually a swearing-in ceremony, and I'll show you an example of that, a ranger-led program here. And then you can see kids, very kid-friendly book here. And so for my kids, let me show you a page in the book. So let me switch back here. And the nice thing is they're color-coded pages, so you can kind of skip around and see what you're looking for pretty quickly. There's highlights of the different regions. Unfortunately, they don't have room to be able to tell you about every single park in this book. So they just tell you some highlights in the region. This particular one is the Southeast region. And the checklist has two different columns. One column allows you to check if you visited the park, and another column to check whether or not you have completed the Junior Ranger program. So if you visited, you're putting a check mark in the circles, and if you have completed the Ranger program, you're putting a check marks in the square. At the end of each section is a page for kids to put the cancellation stamp. So you can actually put a stamp. Each park office or visitor center will have that stamp with the date. And then they also have a stamp unique to their park. And so kids can get both of those. For example, this is Fort Frederica. This is their stamp. And then the Fort Frederica cancellation, so you can see. So the kids can have fun stamping those. They do give you a few pages for stamping. So you have multiple pages there for both the cancellation, the official cancellation, and then the official park stamp. Depending, this particular one has three. This park has three different locations, so you actually have to earn the other ones to complete that stamp. Unfortunately, we got a little excited and put another stamp right near it, but that's okay. We'll make it work. Because of COVID-19, some of the parks are closed, particularly Canaveral National Seashore actually has stickers out front of their Apollo Beach Visitor Center. So if you are doing the program, you can pick up the Junior Ranger book and then the sticker once you complete it and put in the date that you completed the program. So these are the books. Now I'm going to show you a little bit about the actual activities that the students complete. And so each park has its own activity guide. Now these activity guides range widely, so I'm going to show you three different ones because there's so much variety in them. And what's nice too, during COVID-19, they actually made these digital. So this particular one is a clean copy. My kids haven't done this one. We downloaded ours online and printed them and took them with us to the park. And it's, right now it's a nice thing to get out and do some of these parks. There was no one there the day we were there. We were one of the only people and only cars we saw. And so it was nice just to be outside, be able to do the activities in here and be able to earn our badge. So this particular park is a little bit different. It's got the most advanced program in terms of leveling that I've seen. So this one has three different levels. All three of them have to complete this activity book. Pick up a bag of trash. It earns the sea bean. To earn the seashell, you have to do a ranger-led program, and then you can earn the patch. So this particular park has both a patch and a badge. And then the Sea Star level has the different rankings here, and then you earn the patch, the badge, and the certificate. So for Canaveral National Seashore, because the Ranger Led programs are currently canceled, we were actually able just to skip that step in order to earn the items. So for us, so the kids completed all the different pages, and as you can see, they're highly interactive pages. This one's drawing the national park symbol. You have some different questions, fill in the blank. You have bingo, so if you're watching out the window, you have to find 5 a row of these animals at the park. This particular one, what should not be at a lagoon, cross them off. You have a find the different list of things in the picture. A history lesson about the Indians and Turtle Mount that is at Canaveral National Seashore. A little bit about the Florida scrub jay, which is only found in Florida. And then a word search. A lot of them have different word searches in there. So really fun activities for kids. This is the patch they get. And this program, let me say, is completely free. So you need to be aware of that. So that's what makes it a great program for Scouts. So we earned both the patch and we earned the badge. So you can see it's a pin badge there and the certificate. So you also, this particular park does a certificate. So all 3 things. Now most parks that we have been to only do the badge. And that if you want to purchase a patch, you can for the park. Which is just the generic patch park. It doesn't say Junior Ranger. Although we have been to a few parks where they let you choose one or the other. So you can earn either a patch or a badge. This particular park has the 3rd level, which lets you earn both. So I'm going to show you some examples of 2 other parks because the books are very widely. So next I'm going to show you a little bit about Fort Frederica in Georgia. So we recently visited Fort Frederica in Georgia. And this was a really interesting one. So I hadn't seen any park do this yet. So I did download the books. So you can download the books online off the National Park Service website. And that's really great to have. If you're going on a long car ride, there's a lot of activities they can do before they get there and read about the park, especially those word searches you can go ahead and get done. But this particular park has 3 different badges. And kids can do all 3 of them and then earn a Master Junior Ranger badge. So I thought that was really cool. And I also really like the book that they did here. All the books are great, so I don't want any park to feel left out. But this particular book I really thought was interactive. So this particular one is about the history piece of the actual fort. And the way, if you've never been to Fort Frederica, the ruins of the fort are there. And then it's almost like a Williamsburg, Virginia without the houses. And they have signage throughout. And they have the streets marked of the colonial streets. So it was really neat to walk through. But this particular book leads the kids through an adventure. So they get a dispatch from General Oglethorpe. They read the dispatch that tells them where to go. So they need to take this dispatch to the tavern. And so they walk over to the tavern and through the town gate, and there's a little puzzle here they do. They go over to Mary Musgrove's house, and they learn about her house and what it was to live there. They do some translating, so they actually write a sentence in the original Creek language. And so they get a little bit of history there and get to learn about other languages. So they write a sentence there. And then they realize that the captain is not here, so now they have to follow him to another house. So they learn about the tavern, they learn about the different houses, where people lived and how they lived. They learn about, so they just go all the way through. Here's a really cool, they had to play a children's game, so they have a little book here of different games that children would have played back then. So they have to play a game. And so they're just learning about the history and as they're walking through the historic sites. So they're going, all these numbers are location to location as they're finding that. And then they end up in the fort, which is really cool. And once they complete the book, they have completed all the requirements for the Junior Ranger badge. And there was one, they actually write a letter back home. So based on Francis Moore's journal, when he kept a journal in 1736 on his voyage to Georgia, they write a letter back home. So you see here. And describe it today and compare it. So that was really cool, the letter they wrote, and they leave that. So lots of fun activities. And then once they complete it, they earn their badge. So this particular badge is this one, the Junior Ranger Fort Frederica. And so then you also have the option that you can do a second badge, which is the Junior Archeologist program. So this particular program focuses specifically on the archaeology that is there. And this is what Typically, what I've seen in a lot of books, the first one I showed you, Canaveral, is a little different, as was the first Frederica badge. But a lot of the forts are age divided. So what happens is it's got the Explorer age. So in this one, they only do 5 pages of the book. Ages 9 to 11, they're going to do at least 7 pages, and then ages 12 and up, they have to do at least 9. So if your kid's between 5 and 8, it gives them some flexibility, and it also allows the Park Service to put some more advanced things in here for the older kids that maybe the younger kids wouldn't want to do. So this particular one was, this page is too advanced for my younger child, so he didn't choose that page. Or this page, but he did some of the other ones where he matched up the striation. So they talk about excavation and the strata of dirt. So just different archaeology based activities. So it was really cool. And for that, they earned the junior archaeology badge. And so he earned this badge. And then finally, they have an underwater explorer badge at this particular park in addition. So this book we downloaded from home. They didn't actually have any copies available at the site. And so this particular book is all about water, and specifically about the environment. So once he completes this book, so you do so many pages in this book, very similar to the other ones. It's a pretty long book, so you do have to do it before you get to the site because it's going to take you a while. Once you complete that one, you earn the Underwater Explorer badge. So here's that. And then once you've done all 3, the park actually gives you this patch. It's the Master Junior Ranger patch. So this is a pretty unique patch because you have to have completed all 3 badges in order to get it. So I really like that about the park, that they have these different variety of activities for kids to do. And it brings kids back to the park. So maybe you visit it more than once because it's going to take some time to do these. So now let me show you a few other examples too. So this is the third style of book that you can see. So this particular book, the ranges are completely different. So you can see there's a different activity guide for 5 to 7 and a different activity guide for 8 to 12. And so that allows them to be very specific on the activities they include. So in this particular book, because it's all 5 to 7, they're going to have to complete the entire book in order to earn their badge. And so you can see, again, activities that are focused on that age group. So a little bit more I Spy, circling, matching, not a lot of long sentence writing at this age. You can see it talks a lot about the animals at the area. So lots of different fun things that the kids can do in here. And again, for here, complete at least 5 activities in the book. So again, it's not the entire book. It gives kids a chance to choose what is interesting to them and what areas. I really like that about the books is you're not forcing the kid to do everything. I have one child that hates word searches, but another one that loves them. So that gives them some flexibility. The other thing I've also seen is we went to a fort last year that allowed the kids to share a book. So it was, you had to do the number of pages based on the oldest child in your group, but all the kids did the activity book together. And I thought that was really neat as a family. So these are just different examples. And then there's a few books that are actually 100% virtual. So recently the Park Service partnered with NASA and they developed some books that were 100% virtual. And so all of these are available online. They're all available on the National Park Service website, which is NPS. And I encourage you to do this with your families. Go ahead and look up. You can look up online based on your state or region what different parks are near you, and go ahead and try one out. We actually got the bag when we got all these books the very first time, and I have one child that loves to put all of his badges, recent badges, on the outside of the bag, and so we carry this around with us. I keep all of our books here, our completed books, everything I keep in this bag. And so if we're running out the door or we're going on vacation somewhere where there's national parks, I go ahead and grab the bag and take it with us. And that way, if we have time or we want to just get outside for a little bit, we've got all of our passports and things ready to go, and I'm not having to search for those. I also have multiple kids, and so I keep before I sew them on, I have 2 kids in Scouts, a boy and a girl. Both in different scouting organizations. And so they want these patches on their uniforms. And so one organization, you actually put them on the uniforms. The other one, you put them on a secondary piece. So these are my bags waiting to be sewn on. And I do keep these in this bag as well by child, because I have another child that doesn't like to display hers on the bag, but prefers to put them on some type of Girl Scout vest or something. So these are all waiting to be adhered based on child. So I encourage you to do that too, because these can add up really quick and you get confused which child chose what. This particular one, the Manhattan Project National Historic Park, the child had a choice between a badge or a patch. So I had one child choose the badge, and then I had one child choose the patch. And so this is the Junior Ranger patch from the Manhattan Project. And this one actually has 3 different sites. So we've only been to one site, and you go to the other 2 sites and complete the programs there. And they also have badges the kids can earn, and then that's what completes that 3-piece stamp I had shown earlier. So I hope you are able to get out. I hope you're able to enjoy this program. It's a free program. It's a great program from the National Park Service, and it gets kids out exploring, and that's the important thing. So hopefully this will give you some good tools for your scout program. Maybe you can send this to parents, they do on their own, or if you have a national park near you, maybe you take your scouting troop to that national park and you do this entire activity together. So good luck and happy scouting.